Hello and welcome back to New Albion here in Theotown, our Albion Online inspired city based on the map of Albion Online. We have Carleon in the northern part of the map, and since last time we played, we have had a bit of destruction here in 10, so we're going to start by reducing the rubble and cleaning up just a bit. Looks like a lot of these buildings, even the ones that are standing, are abandoned right now, so we'll just go ahead and delete them. All the dark colored shaded ones are abandoned. Now it does look like we have a fire happening over here, and that's not good at all. So let's go ahead and build a fire department there nearby. Of course, our plan is to have a nice large capital city here that extends across the water here to the other side, and eventually Limhurst here and Carleon will sort of merge together to create one enormous metropolis that stretches all the way from down here into the upper part of the map. And meanwhile, we do have fire extending across the entire length of this large city block. This is not good at all, but these things happen sometimes. So here we are. Now, today I wanted to talk a bit about how video games have played a role in my life and how they actually have played a positive role. And as a child, I was always told that if you play video games, you're kind of rotting your brains out, and that's gonna result in you not being a very successful person in life. And all in all, video games are kind of the devil, you know? And as a kid, I believed this. And I wanted to play games. I really loved them. I wanted to play them. But I also had this overwhelming sense in the back of my mind that this is absolutely a terrible thing for me to be doing. I'm wasting my life. And, one day I need to grow up and stop it. Because the video games are not what grown-ups do, right? Grown-ups do grown-up people things. They go to work every day, and they're busy, and they're successful, and, all that stuff. Well, so here's the deal. I did grow up, and I started doing other things in my life that weren't video games. I got a job, and I spent quite a lot of time doing my job. And I got a credit card, and I started buying things with my credit cards that I probably didn't need, and I got them because I wanted to be able to feel like I was successful and maybe impress people a little bit, or perhaps have more friends or something like that. And all in all, I just sort of followed that path, and I wanted to be successful, So I worked long hours at my job, and I tried to be as successful at it as I could. And there were times when I worked 80 hours a week sometimes. It happened. And I thought I was chasing success. And then one day I realized that I was lied to, and I didn't even know it, because the video games didn't hurt me at all. You know what hurt me? What hurt me was getting a credit card and spending money I didn't have instead of saving it and investing it. It was being so determined to be successful in a job that I was willing to risk my life and my health for it, and to put myself in a situation where, there was a time when I wound up actually falling asleep while I was driving twice in a row because I felt like I wasn't able to go home and sleep. And so I put myself at risk for a job because I thought that's chasing the American dream. That's what you have to do. And I got a car that I had to pay a payment for, and that was more financial burden. And I did all sorts of things trying to be there for other people and trying to be responsible and trying to be successful. And I spent money on all of the things that seemed like symbols of success to me, like going to the drive-through and having a long commute and being busy and getting things that were cool and trying to look like I was part of the middle class or something like that. And the truth is, it was really all a sham. It didn't matter at all. And then everything fell apart on me one day. Eventually it all fell apart. And I had to go back to the drawing board, and I had to reappraise my life and figure out what I was going to do. And I had to stop spending money, and I had to downsize my life. And I realized that all the things I thought were important were really the things that got me in trouble, and the things I thought were going to be barriers to my success, they didn't actually hurt me at all. So I started saving my money, and I started investing my money, and I started being more frugal, and I replaced wasteful hobbies like going on a long road trip and wasting gas with staying home and playing a video game that's basically free, you know. And my life in many ways started to get better when I returned to some of those simple things like playing a computer game instead of trying to impress other people with money I didn't have. You'd be surprised in life how the things you think are going to make your life better often make it worse. And the times when you chase after things because you think you're going to somehow put yourself on a better path, it's all for nothing. And then the very best things that ever happened to you are actually things that come out of left field, and you didn't actually have anything to do with it. You didn't plan it. You didn't really earn it. You just happened to eventually find a place where you could be patient, and then things started to come together. So in a sense, I think computer games have always been a positive part of my life, and the worst parts of my life were the times when I stopped playing them and tried to forget about them. So now I do like to play them, and I like the idea of sharing them with other people, because I think there's definitely something amazing about the concept of slipping away into a different world where you can be creative and you can imagine things perhaps as different than they are. And in that way, you can be a bit free. So my challenge to anyone would be to take time for the things that you think are enjoyable and don't grow beyond them, because there's nothing romantic or awesome about somebody who grows old and is just brittle and stubborn and serious about everything and totally obsessed with themselves and things that really don't actually matter. So take some time for a little bit of fantasy and a little bit of imagination in your life. Of course, you've got to go to work. You've got to do the things that are your responsibilities. You've got to do your chores. But after that, it's alright to just enjoy the life that you have been given. Thank you for watching.